Hello everyone, I am Ayush Singh. So today I will be sharing my analysis on the Strava project using MySQL. So we have activities, weights, heartbeat, sleep, calories, intensities, and set dataset. I won't be able to perform like so each and every step of code because many times I have made new tables and altered the data, altered the table like change the column data type. So it won't be possible to run it. So let's try our best. So let me just start with our daily activity merge dataset. So this was our dataset. We have ID, activity date, total step, total distance, tracker distance, log rate distance. Okay, also we divided the distance into 4 categories. We did the same for minutes. And we also have calories as all one of our features or column. So we did some pre-processing before in pandas. So I had some basic idea that how the columns or features are behaving. So I knew that there was some kind of relation between total distance and tracker distance. So I did this, just run it. Great, great. So we have total distance, tracker distance, and this is our difference. I ordered the difference by descending order. So we can see here that only few of the rows have like non-negative difference, and this is also not a very major value 1.8, 1.15. Only one we can see 16 for only 3 4 values. Rest of the was 0 or very close to 1 or 0.8, 0.4. So actually we can neglect one of these rows. We can use only one of the rows to gain insights in the future. You can see this is almost 0. Okay, we also then went to check that the number of rows we had. We had in total 940 rows, and we also want to check the min of the difference. Obviously, it was 0. We already checked it, and we were actually extracting only those rows in which total distance and tracker distance were different, and we are getting only 2 columns here. So these are 2 columns, and you will see the values were different for each of them. Okay, we still wanted to see that the count of distinct IDs, that the number of users we have. We have 33 unique users. We found that there was around 98.4% match from pandas, but there is a 100% match. So basically, when I first tried it, I found there was a 100% overlap from this. So the error I was facing was when I was importing a data set. So here we can see like I have kept the ID as double, but basically in the original data set, like the raw data, the data type of ID was int. So using int to import the data set into MySQL were leading to some errors, like only a part of data set was loading. So basically, so while importing, I changed the data set. I changed the data type from int to double to avoid to solve this issue. Okay, so let's again quickly look over the number of rows. We have 940. So okay, great. This where matches the participation. Okay, I was looking for this again after solving the problem, and now we were checking that how many rows of the log distance were not zero. We keeping the count. On 32 was not zero. Only 32 940 were non-zero. We will dropping this obviously, and let's look at the entire data set again. Okay, great. So now we are extracting only few columns like ID, activity date we know, and total step, total distance. We will drop in tracker distance and log activity distance. And for we have very active distance, sedentary active distance, and we will the merging these two columns as medium active distance. We will doing the same for minutes, medium active minutes. We have calories by the end. Okay, basically extract this. So this is the kind of a filtered, a clean data for us. For that, this was the create table. They were extracted from the daily activity merge. I wanted to create a replica, like create a new table so that we can manipulate it rather than changing original data set. It is always good to create a copy. This was also a copy, and I changed the data types. Okay, so data I inserted into this table. Okay, now I went for our exploratory data analysis. So let me just run this again. This is like same result, but we are using our now data frame 2. This is our copied data. So later on, if let me run this is very beautiful part. Okay, this is showing error because I've already changed the date, so it will be difficult to show this now. But basically what I did was the initial, we have the date in a different format, so I changed the format. Okay, so I have updated a format. Later on I altered the original data, like here in the table I altered the activate date to date from the text. Or we can see you can see in original data set we have date activate date as text, but when I did this processing, we can see in the activate data set merge 2 we have activate date as date. You can see the difference. We went from text to the date, and I did this by using this alter table modify the columns. Great. And also to see total steps by ID and ordering the total at descending. By each user ID, we can see a total number of steps they have taken. This was for the entire month, like entire one data set we have. Later, I was saying that I was working randomly, so I started keeping questions for myself. Like from there, I went to calculating the sum total of steps and counting the users. 33 users, date versus sum of users, and number of users were there. This activity date, average total steps, average calories, and their count. On this date, the total steps taken were this, average calories burned by this, and number of users present were 32, 33. Sorry. And we also saw a drop in the number of users from 33 to 24. As you can see that 33 users, but by the end of users decreased 24. I was not keeping this one because we already saw in the pandas also that there was some abnormal behavior for the last few days. I couldn't understand the reason for this. Till I went to get the average for very active distance, medium active distance, sedentary active distance, and the same for very active minutes, medium active minutes, and sedentary active minutes. This is the table I got. See, it was versus date. On the date, what was the average distance traveled by all the users. Later on, I have the weights table. Okay, so I did a similar kind of processing. Let me just quickly run it over. But this was our original data set. We'll first look at the fat. The original total count of fat 67, but the distinct fat was only 3. Rest was nulls, like only 0 or missing. And also to confirm that the weight pounds was simply a factor of weight kg or not, because we know 1 pound is 2.20462. So we were checking that if what we are thinking is actually correct. Okay, so we actually created a difference on the weight kg, weight multiply the factor to get the weight new, and we get a difference. The difference is almost 0. So we can say that we don't need weight pounds because it's simply a factor of weight kgs, and the factor is 2.2. Okay, we also to see what is the max difference we can find here. We know that it was 0, but we wanted to have good precision, so it went to order of 10 to the power minus 4. Okay, this is again our entire data. So we are also making like is report and log ID are not choice of interest for analysis. And now here we can see the date we have We have both time and date, and the format initially was text format. We look at the weight and foremost. We had in the text format date. We were also changing that. We were also changing the format. Obviously, we selected date. This part won't run because I already changed the data set. Okay, it's running great. I'm using actually merged version data set, so that's why it's running. You can see I have changed uh, the format, and later on I went to extract the date and time, only date and only time. Okay, so this is the format month, day, y, and the R is for the time. Later on I created a native new table. I inserted the values. This is we have our merge to. This was only for date only, time only, weight kg and BMI. Okay, after saving this we went forming EDA. So we are starting only certain columns here, date only, weight kgs and BMI. Wanted to understand the max weight, min weight, and also the difference, and we kept it per user. Also plot by got, we only have 8 users for this data set, and the max and min for this, and the difference. But this was I was talking about 1.8, the maximum drop we could find, and this could be a very good insight. But we also saw that few of the users didn't show much of the decrease or very close to zero. We don't understand this because zero is actually not possible. There must be some difference. So I think there might be some fault by getting a data set, or we should need to like refer how the data was collected. Great, and I also went to use case here. So for BMI less than 20, greater than 25, we consider it overweight, and otherwise it's normal. I know it's not normal, but for our use case, I kept it normal because the person who is using smart devices for almost close to 25. You can also look at later over at normal. I just wanted to see the change too, like whether has person shown any change, like went from overweight to normal. And then we found that there was no change in weight and BMI category. Okay. And next for heartbeat, basically the heartbeat data set we have down to seconds every 5 seconds. And while loading a data set around only 5%, it took 20-30 minutes. So if we replicate it, like do some linear extrapolation, it will take around 5 to 6 hours or maybe 7 to just import load our data set from CSV files to MySQL, and we have to do the same for all the four. Like we have 4 data set down to seconds, and we need to keep at least minimum for one day. We need to keep our system open and keep it on plugged in for the charging. And my system is not good actually, so I just kept the seconds data set. But yeah, definitely in future because we should look for that. And also for our use case, we can also avoid seconds because getting insights from daily and hourly is also good. Okay, now we have sleep. Sleep is also a good parameter for us. So this is our sleep data set. Sleep, total records, total minutes, total time in bed. Okay. They were just picking the rows for which total sleep records were greater than 2. And for that we only have, okay, 3 rows. Great. Just corrected. So I'm mostly interested in number of minutes sleep rather than total sleep records, which might be the number of times users slept, assuming he recorded or was recorded. I feel the need for the guy to prepare yourself. Okay, there were many problems I was facing while working. Most time I just wanted to meet the guy who prepared this data set. Okay, so just let move to the ID and sleep day, and we also change the format of date. So it will work because we are keeping the original data set here, the raw data we can say. Okay, this is working fine. You see from sleep day, this is a different format. We went to this format, and we also see that for all the rows we have same time. So the time is not a factor for us. So we'll dropping this. So this part again. Great. We kept full day and total minute as sleep. We get a new table, data was 2, and we inserted the values. And let me show the copied table, same one. And later we converted the minutes to hour because hours is more easier to like understand, because we usually talk about sleep in hours. We slept for 7 hours, 8 hours, so it was easier to interpret. Oh, okay. Also, I altered put a minutes as sleep as double. Okay, because initially I was keeping at end, so I was not getting the decimal. Like everyone went to 6, 5, 11. It was one of the errors I found, and I like solved this problem. I didn't change it because if I go to solving this problem again, I might face. So I just wanted to keep all the errors I found, and I wanted to just document it. Okay, so this is basically the error I was correcting. Great, great, great. No. So let's move from here. This is the person of few of the our users slept around like close to 11.5 hours in few days. That's a good amount of sleep. And we also to understand if our device was actually helping this person to sleep better. But while performing this, I found some errors I couldn't like perform it to full extent. Basically, I created a two rows, row number ascending and row number descending. So as folded ascending, I just wanted to see like for the first 15 days and for the last 15 days, I want to get an average and compare the pool. But while performing the analysis, I will just find some errors because data set was missing too. Because for the few rows we can see uh, like we didn't have the data set for all the users for the entire month. So the plan I did was not easy to do. We just run it this part is for few IDs we have only a single data set, a single day. For few have 25, 4, 28, 26. Like it was quite random, so we can't use this concept like comparing first 15 days the sleep pattern, basically the average of first 15 days to the last 15 days. Okay, but still this is a good kind of good matter, so I kept it here. Later on we went to the calories. We did the similar kind of processing, the original data set. Uh, the number of count of the rows. We look for the number of users we have, count distinct 33. Okay, for user I wanted to know how much calories he has burned in a month. We could buy IDs and solve the calories. This was the calories, and we also wanted to look for the average calories per ID, per user. Was average calories burned by the users. Max max calories found around 3.4k. Basically here we are again changing the format of the day to our this format, and we extracted the year and month too. We can run this because we have the original data set, original table here. Okay, let's say I have altered the thing. Okay, so this won't run. Whether we went to update, we get a new table, we inserted the values. Okay, so let's just see the idea part again. Okay, so for each IDs we have the calories user spent for the entire month, and we also extracted the average for each users. Then we have the calories. This original data set. Basically, we did the same. We basically merged the light and fairly as the medium, and for the same light and moderately as the medium. You can see here we did the rounding as only to 2 decimal point. So we initially have the day as text. I see date as text. We will also changing it later on. We created a new table and we inserted the values into it. So this is just changing the format from this to this. This won't run, this shouldn't run. No, this is null because we're using that. So great. So this is our copied table, also a cleaned one. We already updated the format of the activity day, and we also altered the table, modified it from the text to date. We can see here we have intensity. Intensity originally we have text, later we hit on new table, it went from date. This one activity day, it was date now, but earlier it was text. It is important to like set the right data type. Great, and this is our final. I don't rename the columns to just get a better understanding. So we have created the average for each day, average active distance, medium active distance, and sedentary. Same for active minutes, medium active minutes, and sedentary minutes, and the number of users like who contributed for this dataset or who are active on that day. Now we move to the steps. Okay, so this is our original raw data. We will doing the same. We'll get our new table. We will insert the values. Okay, so these are now copied table. Okay, so again we changed our. Well, you can see initially we have this. Okay, we are not able to. Since I already updated like the format, so we won't able to see the original format. But if we look for original table, we can see this is our original format of activity. So basically changed it later on, and we also altered the table, modified from text to date, the same like we did before. So this was the sum total of steps taken by each user. And also get it by descending all the way to descending. So the maximum step was around 50k taken by user. This is the user ID, and it went decreasing descending order. Obviously, the successful decrease, and the minimum we found was 15k. And this was the average. So here we also can get descending, so we can get a quick idea of what is min and max for us. The max was around 1.6k, the average steps taken, and minimum we could find was around less than 1k, 916. So thank you. This was our analysis we have formed using MySQL.